Just checking this out to see how well it works. If anybody shows up, it'll be awesome. I'm going to go through a roll of wheat pennies right now. Just, there's some wheat cents that I purchased in a lot, and I'm just checking to see if there's anything in them. This is using my regular microscope, so I'm going to have to work on the focus just a little bit on this, the focus and the zoom. As I just check through here looking for anything of interest. If anybody wants to ask any questions as we go along, I'd appreciate it. You guys have anything you need to know? Hey, John and Hoop, what's going on, guys? Let me, I think I'm going to refresh by going a slightly different route about this. I'm just trying to figure out what works best. And I think I'm rounding it down to finding it, but let me do this and I'll show you what I mean. I've got a mostly AU to BU roll of pennies here. These are all wheat cents that I purchased in a recent buy. I'm just checking through them to see if there's anything in them worthwhile. I think I just found a proof coin. But anyway, here we go. Let me swing the mic around. Nope, Brian, you're not late. Nobody's late. This is just a kind of a, we call it a roll dig. And basically, it's just I'm going to go through a roll of pennies, and there's nothing special about it. I don't know what's in it or anything else. It's about what we're going to find this out together. So let me get my scope set up so that it's focused properly on this. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide them under the scope and look at them and see what's there. See if there's anything there worth the taking. Anything more than a few cents worth, I guess. I'm kind of watching the chat too, so if you guys ask any questions, I'm certain I'll see them eventually and be able to get to them and answer them. I've never seen the contents of this roll, so I have no idea what this stuff is going to be. There's your 1957. It looks like it has a torn triangle at the bottom of it. I've seen a number of these over the years. This just happens to be one. May actually turn out to be one of the more interesting finds in this particular roll. Who knows? How many rolls do I currently own that I've yet to open or look at? Well, I would say probably about 95% of what I have I've never seen inside of. I'm going to say that number is going to be, oh boy, somewhere in the 10,000 range. 10, maybe 15,000. I don't know. Right now I only have a couple of thousand in inventory, but the rest of them are all kind of sitting in standby. This is just kind of a hangout. I'm not really selling anything. Not trying to scoop up any new business or anything. I'm just wanting to go through a roll here, check out what's in it, and perhaps, maybe, actually find something. Looks like there's a little doubling on the top of that 4. Also looks like there's doubling on the bottom part of the inside of the 5. That's interesting. I'll have to take a look at that one with both eyes when I get a chance. Do I just buy boxes to sell? Yeah, pretty much. I've gone to that over the past 6 months or so, maybe a year, 2 years, I don't know. Where in the past, I found myself spending a lot of time, energy, and effort finding rolls to go through them and pull out dye varieties and sell dye varieties. Well, I haven't done much of that in the last few years. The last few years, basically all I've done is buy the rolls, and then turn right around and watch other people open them and have fun with them. I found that the profit margin to the amount of time that I actually spend looking is probably higher margin when I just sell the rolls, let other people find the goodies. You know, once in a while I don't mind picking through a roll and actually finding some. There's a doubled eyelid right there. A small doubled eyelid on a 1956 Philadelphia Lincoln Cent. Let's see. Let's pull this up to high magnification. Take a look at it under high mag. There it is right there. So you can see the little hump and the opening of the eye there. No, Brian, sorry. I'm fresh out of 55 DDOs at the current time. But I did just find, what is this? A 56 DDO. So, here we go. I don't know of any 56 doubled eyelids, 56 plain doubled eyelids yet. So this may be a new one. Yeah, it's cracked skull too. Now, the one moving basically side to side on your screen, that's some sort of a planchet flaw, planchet lamination or something. The one going up and down is actually a die crack. Interesting. The boxes of Lincolns that you might be talking about would be circulated. The circulated stuff, I stopped going through circulated coins a long time ago. I just don't have the time or the energy to spend on that anymore. Usually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go buy a collection full of rolls and then sell the rolls and then wait for people to come back to me and say, hey, guess what I found in the roll I bought from you? You know, like, oh, that's awesome, man. I like that. I like it when people find the stuff. See, if you find something and then give me the opportunity to purchase it back from you, it actually cost me less in the long run than the amount of time I would have spent searching for it in the first place. And I know you guys enjoy searching the rolls more than I do. So it's kind of a win-win. You know, when you guys search through this stuff, you find something, you find a duplicate, and you want to sell the duplicate back to me, I'll buy it from you. Most of the time. I mean, it depends on what it is. It has to be an identified die variety, though. You know, like that 56 doubled eyelid I just found. I could care less about it until it actually has a die number. Once it has a die number, then I care about it. Before that, they mean little to nothing to me. Let's see what I have here. Now, what I've got is I've got a fluted piece of ash. It's like a baseball bat, and it's fluted at 3/4 of an inch. And these coins just sit right here in a trench on the stick, and I'm just holding the stick and moving the stick around. The coins stay stationary. And they don't have to be turned straight up and down for me, because I'm looking for doubling. I'm not looking to read the design. This one has a small, yep, it's got a small split lower serif in the mint mark, 51D. Small split lower serif in the mint mark down there. You can see it kind of barely in the lower serif of the D mint mark. I'll take it. Whatever I can get, right? I don't do this very often except for just kicks. You know, like I'm bored, I've got a roll of pennies I need to look through, here it is. I'll do it. Why not? Right? And maybe I might find something that I'll learn from, or that I can teach you guys something from. Hey, you never know what I might end up finding in here. This one looks like it could. Oop, I just moved it, didn't I? Yes, I did. Tilt it in different directions to look at it in the light to see if the RPM I thought I saw is actually an RPM, or if it's just the lighting angle I was looking at it. It was just a lighting angle thing. It's not really an RPM. may have a very hairline split in the lower serif, but we don't really care about those. This is more a thing where we're trying to find something of actual merit, something decent, something cool. Ooh, this looks different. Now see, sometimes you find yourself having to second guess what you're looking at, and you take a better look or a harder look at it. I thought this might be doubling in the word trust in this 55D, but it is not. Got nothing going on there. Sometimes you just have to take a better look at what you got going on. So you turn things, you look at a different angle, you kind of hold your mouth a certain way. There's another doubled eyelid for you. This one's on a 56D, which, like I said, it's not very exciting until I can attach a die number to it. When I can attach a die number to it, then I got something of value. So let's see what else we've got in this. That's what I thought. I thought I ran into a proof. This is a 1958 proof. Very different in appearance from a mint state coin. The fields are very flashy. That's why we get all that flash out in the camera. I'm looking for a bar L. I thought I might have seen a bar L, so I'm trying to turn it in the light just right so I can see the possibility of a bar L. Hey, Boondocks. Okay, I got nothing on that side. Let me take a look at the reverse real quick on this 58 proof. It is an impaired proof, but it's still a proof. Okay, yeah. Nothing there. Just a proof coin. Let's see, here's a 56D. I've always liked going through 56D. You guys, the ones of you who have followed me for quite a while know that, because 1956D is one of those years that can generate a whole bunch of neat looking double dies and RPMs and things like that, and it's just, they're fun to look through. Okay, got nothing on that side. Let me flip all these over with the magic of my dual sticks. They're all flipped over now. I can look at the reverse sides. Basically looking for doubling, mostly in the center of the design, like an extra bar on the E or C or something like that. Or we're looking for mostly what's going to be class 2 or class 6 doubling around the outer periphery of the design. If I find something, I will show you what I'm looking at. A little harder to describe it than it is just to point to it and show it to you. Hey, Coin Hunter. Yeah. I'm not expecting to find anything here, by the way. I'm not like all up in the stratosphere about finding double dies or anything like that. This is just a random roll of wheat pennies that I got in a deal. I think I paid, I don't know, a few dollars, not much, just to get this random roll as a part of the deal. They come in sometimes that way, you know, where you just get coins you don't really expect, and well, once in a while there's actually something good in them. Usually these end up in a bag or tubes or something where I'll sell these for other people to look through. But this particular time I decided, why not do a little live show? And go in, we'll take a look at the stuff and see what's in there. If there's nothing in there, then it goes in a wheat bag. Nothing to it, right? This is about how fast I'm generally going through a roll of mixed coins, just looking for anything of value. And I get a half roll at a time. I get 25 coins at a time on my little stick. I guess I should call it my penny bat or something like that. Oh, a couple of decent 57 PDDRs. Wow. Hey, Kevin. Here's that 58 proof again. Just, once in a while somebody will toss a proof in a roll, and voila, there it is. This one's sat up on the edge a little bit, which is why it was out of focus. Okay, well, those are done. That was fun. Let me go into... Now, this stick that I have does a half roll at a time. So that was 25 coins. Now I've pushed those off the stick, and I've got another 25 coins here waiting to be found. Look through. Those were all from the 50s. I believe this other half roll here is all from the 40s, but I'm not sure about that. Just push it out and see. Well, we have 25 coins here, so we're good. At least I counted them right. Now let's go back under here, go under the gun and see what we've got. It's a 47D. Yeah. Oh, there's a double die. That's interesting. How much I really knew about this one before, but it's... Brian? I have a double die. Oh, this is a pretty nice one. God, what do you know? What die is this, Brian? Eric? Well, you can see the doubling here. There's doubling in the LIBER of Liberty. It kind of goes toward the north, and as you swing around, it's all basically in the same direction. So you have it in the INGOD. So you can see it in INGOD there. And then you can see it here in the WE. I don't know what die it is. It's a, what date? 1942 plane. You can see it here in the 9, 4, and 2 of the date. It does not have one of the doubled eyes, but it has doubling pretty much everywhere around the design. That's pretty cool, actually. I don't remember having seen one of these before. Got pretty nice doubling in the LIBE of Liberty. It actually extends through to the R and the T of Liberty. Nice. Boondock says it looks like number 1. I had no idea this was in there, but now I know. Let's flip it over and see if there's anything on the other side. Sometimes you actually get double die combos, where you get an obverse and a reverse. This one, well, it has nothing on the reverse. Don't you think so, Greg? Really nice, isn't it? Let's see here. Back out on it just a little bit so make it a little bit easier to see. Flip it back over. Take another look at it overall. Where that INGOD WE has pretty nice doubling. It's pretty decent spread. So this is number 1. Okay. Very nice. I'll set this off to the side. We'll just keep looking. See what else we have in here, if anything. 46D. That one has an RPM. Yeah. That's an RPM. It's a pretty nice one, too. I think that's going to be one of the listed RPMs. This has got, appears to be some pretty good markers too. So you have a 1946D RPM, next coin in the roll. Nice looking RPM. Let me flip it over and see if it has a double die on it. No, no doubling on the reverse, but we do have a decent RPM on the obverse. And next coin, 1947S. I don't see anything here. Our streak has ended. Okay, so a 47S. Let's keep moving, and then we'll flip them over and take a look at the reverse later. All right, 46D, nothing on that one. Here's another 1942. This one doesn't happen to have anything on the obverse. There's a 49S. Sometimes these will have... Yeah, see there's an RPM there. They'll have a little split in the lower serif. This one's got a pretty nice split in the lower serif. It's got a lot of die markers. Got a whole lot of die scratches running north and south through the obverse. So this one's going to turn out to be an RPM. And so... not a double die reverse as well, so just an RPM. RPMs are hard for you to see. Well, this one's actually relatively simple. If you take a really good look here, see how the bottom serif has that big notch in it? All right, the bottom serif has a big notch, and the top serif actually has some notching stuff going on too. I'm looking for a pointer right now, so I'm crossing over myself. Okay, where's my pointer? There it is. Well, this doesn't work very well, but right up here inside the upper curve, you can see just a little bit of doubling up there, and on the this doesn't work at all. Inside the upper left loop. Inside the upper left loop, you can see a little bit of a shadow there. It's kind of making up the part of the S mint mark. But the biggest part of this is actually the lower serif. Lower serif on the lower left corner of the S. If you're having trouble seeing that, just practice. Look through a whole bunch of coins. And then when you see the ones that are anomalous, different, you'll notice them a lot more quickly. It's definitely not one of the prettiest rolls of coins I've seen in a long time, but, you know, it is what it is. It's got stuff in it. So, and it's got stuff in it. That means it came from someone who wasn't looking for stuff. This one is actually a double die lid, but it's so close in spread, I don't really think I'm going to mess with this one. Just not enough there. Needs a little more character than that. Oh, who are we? Another 48D. Don't have anything on this one. Okay, moving right along. Got a 45D. This one appears to be a double die obverse, a minor one, minor class 6 double die obverse. Class 6 means that it's going to have some extra thickness toward the rim. Just to get a better look at it, flip it around this direction. It might be, and it might not be. Actually, upon turning it around, looking at it in the other direction, it does not appear to be a double die at all. I was a little presumptuous in my assumption. Was it presumptuous or assumptuous? Not really sure how that works out. What's up, Coin Dragon? Yeah, we got nothing on this one, so I'm going to keep moving on. What do we have on the next coin here? 1947S again. Looks like somebody had a slightly S-mint heavy roll. Nothing to see here. Please move along, move along. This one I can already tell is a class 6 double die obverse. You can see the convex appearance, or concave, I'm sorry, concave appearance to all the letters in Liberty. And what date and mint is this? Oh, this is 1947. That is an anomaly about 1947 that tends to be relatively common. I'm not sure why that happens, but the date is completely normal, and then over here you look at it and it appears to be a class 6 double die. It isn't. What's up, Hawkeye? Yeah, so yeah, this one's not going to count for much of anything. So we move on. And if I actually find something really nice in this roll, rest assured that it's going to be a surprise to me, just like it is to you, because I have not looked at any of these coins except to scan through them for date and mint mark, just to be sure there weren't any semi-key or key date coins in here, and there weren't. I have not looked at them for varieties yet, which is what I'm doing right now. All this mushiness out toward the rim that you see up here, that's because this is a very late die state die. Basically, all of the edges of the letters, upon repeated force of minting coins, has chipped all that out, and all of the molecules of steel have chipped out and run outward, kind of like raindrops on a windshield. And that's what causes the flow lines, but that's also what causes all of this mush on the outer edges of the devices. It happens on every single die that is used all the way up to full life. This one you can see that the 4 and the 6 and the date are starting to wear out. That's just it's a normal part of die wear. Here's another one. Basically, same thing happening here. This one is a 1948 plane. So it happens on different years. Here's another one. Same thing happening. You've got a whole bunch of flow toward the edge of the design. This one's on a 49 plane. This one's not as bad, but it still shows the same thing. That's on a 48 plane. Now this one's a lot crisper. You can see that this one actually has outer edges to the letters. So it's much fresher die, much newer. This is a 1944D. Now this 44D, let's take a good look at it. Okay, sometimes that tail of the 9 can actually fool you into thinking that you're seeing something you're actually not. But this particular case, I just flipped the coin around and you know, it is what it is. Just not there. Just nothing to stop at. I'll keep looking here and see what we see in the rest of these. Another 1942. I've had pretty decent luck with 42 today, haven't I? Turn this coin up so I can actually see the eyelid and make sure that the eyelids aren't doubled. There are 3 different really nice doubled eyelids on 1942. There's also one that I keep forgetting to look for. It has doubling running down the side of the T in trust. This is not one of them. Let's see, what is this? This is a 46 plane. 46 plane is a really nice double die reverse 1946 plane, but I don't know about much. On the obverse, there is a really nice class 6, but I haven't ever found one of those in person. I did get close enough to get some photographs of one time. That's the best I could do. Uh-oh. We may have something here. Nope. Nope. You see how everything kind of just looks stretched out a little bit on this? That's just the way 48s come. It's really weird. 47 and 48, it's just like that. They look a little more stretched out than their counterparts of other years. Okay, we're done with that side of that half roll. And I think I'm having fun with this evening. It's only 9:30. I think once I get finished with this roll, I might end this broadcast and start a new broadcast for a different roll so that we can pick and choose what we want to review later. I'm looking here for anything that stands out as being very odd and different. So far I'm seeing nothing odd and nothing different. So I have this 1958 proof coin. I'll probably end up giving it away to somebody. These are pretty decent coins. I mean, they're not great, but they're not bad either. So, just something to do, right? Way I can be looking for stuff, and I'm not straining my eyes at all because I'm looking at my computer screen and I'm seeing basically the same video that you're seeing. There's a really nice case of machine doubling there. You can see how flat that secondary is, and that secondary in the doubling. Well, that's your machine doubling, and it has no value. Machine doubling never has value. Machine doubling is something that is very, very common. Happens because of loose dies minting coins. And, well, loose dies sink coins. It's like loose lips sink ships. Loose dies are not something that you want to have. Let's see. What's that? Nah, nothing. Thought for a moment I might have seen something. Found a 38p in XF in a roll last night, just digging through customer rolls. Wow. 38p, that goes back a ways. Alright, so we got nothing here. I do have a few extra coins sitting over here that we can go through. See if there's anything in them. The 58D has much of nothing on that one. Let's see here. 53S is known for a few nice RPMs, but not much of anything else. There's a 55S. This one's nice and shiny. Nothing else there. There's a 55 plane. I always watch for double die obverse number 2 on the 55 planes. It's one of those things that not the easiest in the world to detect all the time. I watch for the doubling in we and the doubling on the upper part of the diagonal cross on the R of trust. It's not real. Oh, okay. I'm not going to move. I'm going to tell you the rest of what the 55D double die obverse number 2 is. Not real hard to see, but they are pretty hard to find. Now, the reason I stopped is because this mint mark position right here, high and slightly to the right, is the mint mark position for 1951D double die obverse number 1. So there's some chance we may have it. Do we? No. No double die. Bummers. Sometimes I like just setting up myself to think I've found something, just to know that I haven't. There's a 54S. This one could be DDO number 1, and it is not. Let's see. 57 plane. There might be a chance of a double die reverse on this, but obverses are usually pretty clean of anything interesting. This one's got a die crack developing in the bottom of the 5. Other than that, it is nothing. What do we have here? 1953 plane. Nothing going on there. Here's a 52D. Don't ever forget, if you look underneath the vest on the 52D, there could be a D sticking up out of the rim under the front of the lapel. Always want to check for that, because if you miss that, you could be missing something of really nice value. Hey, Wanda. Wanda sees wood. Yes, Wanda does see wood. These are my little sticks that I use for hunting when I'm going through rolls, because I can put a half roll at a time out on my stick. And because I have a second stick, I can actually put the one on top of the other and flip the whole thing over, and well, I've just flipped every coin that I was just looking at inside of a second. I love being able to do that. Oh, nice double die. There we go. I actually noticed that one on the O of 1. Turn this around, take a better look at the elements here. You see them? Really nice doubling on the E and the P, L, U. You see it on the R, the B, a little bit on the S, a little bit on the dot, a little bit in Alright, so now we've got to flip this over and find out what it is. I hope it's a 56 plane. 55 plane. Hey, this is probably 55 P1DR001. Nice Class 6 double die reverse on a 1955. Don't see that very often now, do we? Well, it's good that you got a job doing something, Hawkeye. I wish you well with it. Let's see. Yeah, we got a pretty double die going on here. So that one's going to come out too. That one will probably be photographed for the website because, well, those are pretty scarce. You're not going to see those very often. Class 6 refers to how the doubling occurred. In this particular case, it was distended hub doubling, which stretches the design toward the rim. And so what you see is elongated details near the rim. That one was actually a Class 2, not a Class 6. I get used to calling those Class 6, and they're not. That one was a Class 2 distorted hub doubling. Distorted hub doubling is actually where the hub warps in between hubbings of the die, and then you bring the die back. There's a die crack running off the bottom right corner of the right wheat there. This is a kind of an ugly coin. It's got the circle of death on it from a counting machine. But the Class 2 actually shows separation between the two elements, and Class 6 does not. Class 6 just shows stretching. And so that coin actually appears to be more of a Class 2. You can also have Class 2 and Class 6 together. I put my block under here and refocus that 55 double die so we can take a better look at it under better lighting. Yeah, you see how thick the top of the O is and top of the E in one? They're a little thicker than they would normally be. And see, so there you go right there. You see you have right over here, you see that extra bar on the E, right? And you get there's a little doubling in the dot, but it's really hard to see on this particular one. How rare is the interior die break on the 2019 P Lincoln Shield Sense? Interior die break? I'm not really sure. I don't know, James. But here's the doubling on the P. You can see it up here on the top. And then if I move it around to where you can see the L and the U, the doubling becomes a lot more obvious. The the design up here is supposed to be the same thickness as the design down here. And when you get down here, your doubling is almost twice as thick as it your L is almost twice as thick as it should be. And you've got this little separation line running right through the middle. And we've got what we call notching. I can show you notching a little bit better on the R if I can flip this around and get the lighting just right. There's notching for you. You can see notching right here because your corner of the R comes in, then you have another corner of the R. So you've got two corners together. And that's where one overlaps the other. What magnification is? I don't know, enough to see. Probably a couple hundred. I mean, I'm only doing that for the sake of education and showing you guys what this stuff looks like when you look at it real close. Okay. And then your B also has some doubling, and the U a little bit maybe. The S has a little extra thickness, and it has some notching. Forgive the little pointed whatever that is, that piece of fuzz or whatever, but the end of the S at the top of the S, which is at the bottom of your screen, that's notching. That's two S's stuck together. Your dot, you can see the notching in the dot right here because you actually have two dots stuck together. You can't really see it very well anywhere else on the coin. Yeah, there's some notching at the corner of the M. Right up here, this right here is the corner of one M. This is the corner of the other M, so you get your corners run together. And that's helped out by the fact that you can see some doubling here. So, and this is a little fiber of something stuck on the coin. I just wiped it off. So, yeah. Now, over here, you can actually follow that doubling on through to the top of the wheat lines. See how they're all doubled? Everything up here is doubled. Let me bring in focus a little bit. There we go. So you can actually see, if you run right along through here, you can actually see doubling on this wheat line. But up here, where your wheat line point is here and here, and then here's one here and here. Here's one here and here. And you can see the outer edge is doubled going all the way down. That's a doubled die. That's what doubled dies look like. You know, if we follow this down, it may stick with us and it may go away. Okay, we still have it right there. You can still see that there's a doubled edge of the wheat right here. I'll move on down, and the stem is a little thicker than it should be, but it's really going to be hard to detect that if you don't know what you're looking at. But that the stem is not exactly what it should be. It's thicker than it should be. So this is a 1955 Philadelphia double die reverse. And you can see now, when you look at it again, you can see, oh, there's your notching on the first dot. That's not damaged. That's actually two different dots. Don't see it really well on the left wheat, but you can. But there we go. 1955 double die. Now let's take a look at the 1942 double die under better magnification, better lighting. Remember what I said about notching? See, we've got notching on this one. If I can get it turned just right. See the bottom corner of the 4? You see the crosslet of the 4, the bottom side of the crosslet of the 4? You can see a notch there where the two different 4s overlap one another. That's notching. Yeah. I sell rolls like this all the time without going through them, so just once in a while I actually do bother to check. Sometimes I'm pleasantly surprised. You can see the doubling on the U. Everything you see there, like up at the very top of it, that's doubled. You can see the doubling on the R. So you can actually see it all the way over to the TRU of trust. That doubling on the top of the T is part of the doubled die. And then we has very nice doubling. So this is number 1 for sure. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Nice, nice. Productive evening. I like productive evenings. Something actually happened today. This is going to end up going to Jessica, and Jessica will be auctioning this off in one of her Thursday night auctions. And here's Liberty, the doubling in Liberty. I'm going to, of course, take a little bit of material to it to get some of that gunk and dirt and grime and crap off of it, but yeah, I'm not even sure. I don't know if I have this one, oddly enough, but it doesn't matter. I'll get it photographed and move it on. Let somebody else enjoy it. What did I find here? I can't remember. Let's see what's here. Oh, this is the 56D. That's not a repunchment mark. Okay, that is machine doubling. How can I tell? There's also doubling on the 9, the 1, the 9, and the 5 that match the direction and thickness of the doubling on the D. And back in those days, the mint mark was placed into the die after the design with the date was placed into the die. And so because they weren't placed into the die together, if there's any doubling, the doubling was caused during the strike of the coin, which is machine doubling. So this is not a repunchment mark. It is not a doubled die in the date. The doubling on this one was right up here in the eye. You see you have an extra eyelid down there. That is a doubled die. Yeah, there's actual doubling right there. That's an extra eyelid. Let's see, what else did I find here? What's this one? What are you? Oh, this is the 51D. This one has just a wee little bit of a split lower serif right there. You can see that split lower serif. That makes up a little RPM. There's a lot of them in 51D. Actually, 49D is one of the years that I'm just like, wow, really? They couldn't ever get it right for some reason. But how about that? That's kind of cool. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end this broadcast, and I'm going to start a new one. And I want you guys to tune back in with me, and we'll go through, what do I have up here? I have a 1955S roll. How about a 55S roll? We'll go through a 1955S BU roll here in just a few minutes. Go back out to the channel and watch for the show to come up in the thumbnails, and then join me. And it's going to probably take me 10 minutes to get everything ready. But then I'll be right back in.